Well, this is the engineering building where this shooting happened today, and I can show you over here, there actually still is quite a bit of a police response here on campus. You can see the squad cars behind me, but that is nothing compared to what this campus looked like this morning. You had hundreds of LAPD officers swarm this campus in tactical gear. They had automatic weapons. You had the FBI, you had the ATF. 17 ambulances were sent here, and that was all due to the fact that this is a massive campus in the middle of the west side of Los Angeles, where you have more than 30,000 students. So initially, when they thought this was an active shooter in terms of somebody who could be roaming the campus or roaming the hallways, they threw everything they had at this until they knew what it was. And as we now know, it turned out to be a murder-suicide, and we have just recently confirmed that the professor who died, his name is William Klug, and he did teach engineering here at UCLA.
And Ben, do we have any idea what the motives may have been at this point?
No, that is the big question. You know, why did this happen? We don't really actually have confirmed who shot who. You can make the assumption, we are assuming it's going to end up being the student who shot the professor, but we don't know that yet. As for a motive, we do not know.
And Ben, during a press conference earlier today with the Los Angeles Police Department, they hinted, somebody asked a question about a suicide note. Have you heard anything more about that?
Yeah, you know, originally that was put out there that there was a note found at the scene with the deceased. The police backed off that a little bit this afternoon, saying that yes, there is a note, but they don't know if it's actually connected to this shooting. But one can surmise that if there is a note and it happened to be where these two people died, that there is some sort of connection.
All right, Ben, and you know, when this was all happening, there were a lot of posts on social media earlier from people inside the building barricading themselves in the rooms because the doors didn't lock. Have you heard anything about security in the buildings? Perhaps, I'm assuming that this is because these are perhaps fire hazards to have those buildings locked. But there you see all the tweets that we saw from students that were actually in the engineering building while this was happening.
Yeah, you know, these students on this campus were on lockdown for about 2 hours, and as you mentioned, some of them used an extension cord to tie their door shut. Others used a printer and even a foosball table to kind of barricade the door. The issue of whether the doors lock cuts both ways. Yes, there is the issue of fire hazard. There's also the issue if you have a shooter come in and lock the door behind him or her, you then have people locked in a room with an active shooter. So I'm not exactly sure where schools have landed on what is the best security protocol for that, but that clearly did play a role today where you had students trying to lock a door only to find out that they could not lock themselves inside a classroom. So they basically took any means they could to try to keep what they thought might be a shooter coming after them on the outside.
And yet, Ben, because it happened in the engineering building, a lot of those tweets that we were just putting up there showed the ingenuity of some of the students. Given that they're engineering students, they were able to rig up some very intricate locking mechanisms on some of those doors. There you see some of the tweets there of what these engineering students were doing.
Yeah, you're dealing with some pretty smart kids if you're talking about the engineering program here at UCLA. So yes, if you're trying to invent a contraption to somehow secure a door or do something like that, I guess you'd want to be with some fellow engineering students.
Ben Tracy reporting from the campus of UCLA for us today. Ben, thank you very much.